it's me again. I'm Jorge. Well, today we're going to talk about this article. Take a look at this. As you can see, this is very common. When you're reading, when you're talking, when you're listening, you always see this article. But you know how to use it correctly? Are you sure? Okay. I'm going to explain step by step how to use this article. First of all, this article is used for musical instruments, right? Do you know it? Well, why for musical instruments? Because if I say I want to play a piano, I want to play the piano, well, of course, that the right answer is the piano. If I want to say I want to buy the piano, I want to buy piano, of course, I want to buy the piano. Well, for musical instruments, we're going to use always the article da. Now, to make sure that you understand this part, I'm going to ask you some questions. And for this, I'm going to use my balloon. This is my magic and amazing friend, the balloon guy. Okay, I'm going to ask you this. Well, if I want to say I want to play guitar, is this right? Do you know what is the mistake? Okay, if your answer is your answer is the guitar, well, I think you're the best because your answer is right. If your answer is just guitar without that is not right, my friend. Well, more examples. What about more musical instruments? I think you know the violin. I really want to learn how to play the violin, or I really want to learn how to play violin. What's the answer? With that or without the article da? Of course, it's with the article da, right? If you know that the musical instruments, well, I consider that you are the best student. Well, let's talk about more things. Well, I think this is pretty easy to understand because we love music. We know many musical instruments. Okay, name more musical instruments. I hear you. Really? The trumpet, maybe? The clarinet? You know, my father is a musician, and my father can play many musical instruments. That's why I decided to talk about this topic. Okay. Now, I told you we're talking about the article da, right? Okay. When we talk about musical instruments, but now let's talk about other grammar rule. Okay. Guess which one? When we use it, when we use the article da. Well, when we use the article da. When we talk about cardinal points, well, I have to remember that if I get lost. Yeah. Well, I think it's better if I buy a smartphone and I can call a taxi, or maybe I can take an Uber. Okay. Let's think about if I say the United States of America is the north. To the north? Of course it's right, because we're using the article da, because it's a cardinal point. The west, the east, etc. Well, I live to the north. I live to the west. Well, when I'm talking about the cardinal points, of course I am going to use the article da. Well, let's go with my questions and see if you understand. Okay. I'm going to say a sentence and you are going to say if my answer is right or is not right. Well, I want to move out to north. What's the answer? It's incorrect. It's not right. It's to the north. Yeah, because it's a cardinal point. Well, remember, when we talk about cardinal points, we have to use that. When we talk about musical instruments, we have to use the article da. Let's see what else, because we have many points. Well, I'm gonna give you some explanation. If I say the Great Wall of China, the Great Wall of China, what is that? The Great Wall of China is a landmark. The coronavirus was one there, actually. Not exactly in the Great Wall of China, but in that country. That's pretty bad. Well, I don't want to remember the coronavirus anymore. Let's see. The Eiffel Tower. Well, Jesus Christ, I can't believe the Eiffel Tower is in you know where. And the coronavirus is there too. Jesus Christ, that's bad. Well, but the Eiffel Tower is a landmark too. If I say maybe the Angel of the Independence. Actually, the Angel of the Independence is a landmark in Mexico. Well, when we talk about unique things, we have to use the article da. For example, the moon. There are many planets and there are many moons, but our moon, the moon that belongs to the Earth, of course, is a unique thing. When we are talking about unique things, we have to use the article da too. Okay, let's name some more. I can hear you. Okay, name some of them. Well, the sun, the moon, the Pisa Tower. The Pisa Tower is in Italy, but we have to use the article da, right? Okay, now I'm gonna ask you some things. And I have my friend again. I want to come back to my classes. I miss my students. Well, now I want to say, I don't want to visit the Great Wall of China. I don't want to visit the Great Wall of China. My sentence is, I can hear you, is right, because I say the Great Wall of China. Well, one more. I don't want to live in moon. What's the answer? Well, it's not right, the sentence that I say, because I have to say the moon, because it's a unique thing. The sun, the moon, the earth, the planet, right? Well, now we have three things: musical instruments, unique things, and cardinal points. Well, I'm going to tell you one more. What about if I say names of restaurants, names of hotels, names of movie theaters? Well, we have to use the article da too. For example, what about if I say, I'm gonna name a very interesting hotel. It's because I live in a small town and it's a touristic place, and there are many hotels. I am not an international teacher. That's why I don't know names or international hotels. Maybe it could be the Royal Palace. I'm international then. Well, I have to use the article da. Well, I think that's pretty important to use it that, because I'm talking about a restaurant. I'm talking about a hotel. Well, I have to use the article da. Maybe I want to say La Troje. La Troje is a restaurant here in the place where I live. I live in Mazamitla. It's a touristic place. You have to go. Well, what about if I want to say I want to go to eat to the Palace restaurant. Well, I'm talking about a restaurant too, and its name is Palace. Then, when I'm talking about cardinal points, when I'm talking about musical instruments, and when I'm talking about cardinal points, unique things, I have to use the article da, and I hope that you understand. Well, I was trying to get many things to do my tutorial, but it was pretty impossible because I can't come out of the house. Actually, the police is going around the town. Well, this is pretty difficult, but I know them. that we are going to go ahead? Well, thank you, teacher.